So today here on the channel, I thought we'd take a little bit of a step in a different direction. We've been talking about Liverpool lately on the channel. So with the Premier League season now over and us looking back on what happened, what didn't happen over the long season, it's easy to see really who the worst transfer of last off-season was. So the summer of 2021. And I think it's safe to say that with the hype around him and the money that was paid for him, that Romelu Lukaku was an absolute flop of a transfer over the last season for Chelsea. Now, Lukaku was a player that Chelsea really wanted. He was in demand after having a brilliant season at Inter Milan, helping them win the Serie A Scudetto. And Chelsea broke the bank to get him. They wanted to bring him back yet again, and Chelsea paid a fantastic fee of £101.7 million to bring Lukaku back to Stamford Bridge. And a lot was expected of him. A lot of hopes were pinned on him, and there were a lot of pundits and journalists who at the start of the 2021-22 season that said, right, Chelsea are going to fight for the league title because of Lukaku. They're going to challenge Man City. They're going to be neck and neck with them, and they're going to probably potentially get back to the Champions League final with Lukaku scoring all of these goals. Well, that didn't happen at all. Chelsea finished third in the Premier League. They were knocked out of the quarterfinals of the Champions League, and they lost 2 cup finals to Liverpool on penalties, the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup. And Lukaku, well, coming from Italy, where he scored 30 goals last season in all competitions in 44 games, and ran riot on some really good defenses, could only muster 15 goals in all competitions for Chelsea. And based on what was expected from the amount of money that Chelsea put into him, it's easy to say that he was the biggest flop of the season in the transfer market from a year ago. And now Chelsea are already looking to move him on. He doesn't really fit into Thomas Tuchel's plans, it looks like. And you have a number of teams who are said to be coming after or interested in coming after Romelu Lukaku. Spurs have reportedly placed a bid to bring him to London. He played under Antonio Conte at Inter Milan and thrived, and perhaps that would allow him to thrive once more by playing with Conte at Tottenham Hotspur. Barcelona are also said to be interested, but of course, lazy journalism. Everybody is of interest to Barcelona, just like everybody is of interest to Manchester United. That's just lazy journalism. And then you've got Bayern Munich, who are actually looking for a new number 9 because Robert Lewandowski is potentially leaving the club this offseason. So Lukaku could end up going there and actually would probably fit pretty well in the Bundesliga playing for Bayern Munich. But Lukaku, like I said, very much a bust this past season after returning to Chelsea, where he scored just 8 Premier League goals in 26 games. And he went on to score just 2 additional goals in the Champions League in 6 games, and was increasingly out of the team in the starting 11 for much of the season. In just 2 of his last 9 appearances for Chelsea, he played a full 90 minutes, and in 7 of those games, either came off the bench and played sparingly, or played from the start and didn't finish the game, which isn't a great record for a player who cost you £101 million. And in that last game of the season against Watford, Lukaku didn't even make it off the bench. So it wasn't a great year for Lukaku coming back to the Premier League. And all those people who criticized Lukaku during his time at Manchester United really got more fuel for their criticism this past season. And it was a real surprise because Lukaku had done so well outside of England at Inter Milan, as I said previously, to fail so greatly this past season. It really looks like that his time in London with Chelsea is coming to an end. Now, looking at the stats a little bit more in depth, Lukaku's 8 goals in 26 games for Chelsea was his worst return on goals in the last 8 seasons. He had never scored fewer than 10 goals in a league season, and he was coming off of 2 fantastic seasons, like I said, with Inter Milan, in which he had scored 23 or more goals in the league. Now, a little bit surprising, his 8 goals slightly exceeded his expected goals rate of 7.02 at Chelsea this past season, and Lukaku only averaging 2.46 shots per game. But again, he didn't get a lot of playing time towards the end of the season and really struggled to find a place in the squad. So Lukaku, for me, was the worst transfer of this past season and an absolute bust for Chelsea. And again, we're going to see him potentially leave Stamford Bridge in the offseason. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me here on this video. Let me know what you think. Who was the transfer bust of last summer? Was it Romelu Lukaku for the lack of goals and the amount of money that was put into him by Chelsea? It'd be great if you like this video and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on everything I do here on my YouTube channel. And it's been great to have all the new subscribers coming on board lately and having all the comments that have come in. That has been also fantastic. All right, guys, I'll see you next time here on YouTube.